very nearly about something, July 2025. My name's Paul. Welcome on board. It's a steaming hot day. This time I never remember to bring hydration. I've got my hydration with me. And today is all a bit of a technology experiment, both getting the cameras set up, and I really do need to upgrade my camera systems. It's better than it used to be, but it can be an awful lot better. I'm very tempted with these DJI cameras, but they cost a fortune. So we'll have to wait and see, but at some point that's going to happen. So what I'm going to do today is do a bit of on-road, off-road in a more structured way. I've actually, as you know, I've joined the Trail Riders Fellowship in the UK. I've got access to their green map, which shows you where the green lanes are around your area, sort of superimposed onto Ordnance Survey OS maps. I've also got obviously access to the definitive maps, which Kent County Council, because I'm in Kent at the moment, they have, so I can check that those really are legit. And I've also very recently I've just got the OS Maps app from Ordnance Survey, and what I've done is I've set a loop. Well, it's not really a loop. I've called it the Easterly Loop, although I should have actually called it the Buttsole Loop, because I'm sitting at a picnic area in Eastry by Buttsole Pond, which I think is a great... Who wouldn't want to have a pond called Buttsole Pond? Anyway. Right, stop. It didn't quite work out like that. I didn't get the technology to work. What I wanted to do is to use this tablet, which is the one I use for navionics on the boat. Come on. It's a bit old. It's got a very old version of Android. Yeah, there we go. Oh, so it's a nightmare. As you can see, even me trying to sort of hold it up and show it to the camera, it's a complete and absolute nightmare. And I had this, I'd put a route into it on OS Maps, which is incredibly easy to use, very, very powerful. I'm sure it's going to be great. And I had this kind of strapped on the tank bag in front of me, and there was so much reflection. I hadn't downloaded the maps, it wasn't working properly, I was focusing too much on it, and I dropped the bike, which you will see and that's when it stopped, because I then unfortunately broke the front part off the saddle. Since then I've now done what I said I'd never do, which is I have actually invested in a smartphone. I got the biggest one I could, and the section we're going to do that I'm going to show you is just this tiny bit past Elvington. I will do a demonstration of this. Of OS Maps. It works really well. It works really nice on the phone, because of course I can have the phone in front of me like that and I can see it. It's more like a heads-up display, because what I did realise is that looking down and getting confused with things is not good when you're supposed to be concentrating on not hitting trees, seeing whether the ground is like that, or like that, which is one of the reasons why I fell off. So anyway, let's have a quick fly through, which is one of the features you can do on the OS Maps thing, of the actual bit that I went through right up to the point where I fell off, and then I fixed what I broke. Here we go. GPS signal acquired. Got a little arrow. Is anything going to happen? No idea. Despite this jacket being nice and warm, sorry, nice and cool, it is a bit hot. Right, I've got a tree to jump over. Can you see that? I've got a tree in the road. I've got to jump over a tree. How adventurous is this? Oh, clunk. Not going to jump over that tree. Right, oh, that's nice to get moving again. I feel so close and yet so far. So I did download the map. That did sort of work because I could find it. Now, do I need to do something else to actually start the route? I don't know. I'm driving through trees. Oh, this is such good fun. It's about nearly 50 years. No, it's actually 50 years since I really did any proper off-roading, apart from the tiny little bits I've shown you. And I used to really like it. And I learned by constantly falling off. Now, I'm not as bouncy as I used to be back then, so I don't want to fall off. But the key is to go fast enough, but not too fast, and to keep nice and relaxed. And the bike kind of knows what it's doing. Oops. This is really narrow, but I love it. And I'm doing 13 miles an hour. Whoops. 30. If you look at the speedo, you run into a tree. And I certainly can't stand up on the foot pegs because it's not tall enough. My goodness me. Fabulous. Who'd want to be anywhere else today? Again, if you don't like ruts, you probably wouldn't enjoy this. It's worth practicing ruts because you feel, if you fight them, you lose. That's the basic premise. You definitely lose. Wow. Right, that little click was the audio coming unconnected, so I'm going to have to do a talk over for this bit. Yeah, I dropped the bike. I was concentrating on all the wrong things. Put my foot down to a bit of ground that didn't exist when I was going too slowly. Blah, 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 excuses. Now, I was thinking that the camera was working at this stage, so what I've done, trying not to stand on my glasses, I've actually put the helmet down, thinking that it was still videoing. I thought that the sound was still working from the camera, which is in the tank bag, but it wasn't. To get a decent... Yeah, because I wanted to video actually how I got the bike up, and I hadn't practiced this before. It is a heavy bike, but it wasn't too difficult to get up. I kind of... what have I just taken off? I'll just take the tank bag off there. It's got a tail pack on it as well. Thank goodness I was wearing this... Urbane Pro jacket with the mesh, because it was a hot day, and this is really that helped keep me cool while I was doing this. So I've kind of lifted it onto my knees. It's like a jerk and snatch. Is that how the weightlifters do it? So I kind of did it in 2 goes. So I kind of pulled it up with my arms. My back is actually straight, and then I kind of pushed it up, and it wasn't too difficult at all, to be quite honest, but it was very, very, very hot, feeling a bit. Now, what I didn't realise is I'd actually snapped the front part of the seat. Right, I'm not sure how much of that I got, but I was very distracted, probably not going fast enough, and ditched it. Thank God I've got this jacket on. So let me just switch everything else off, reassemble things. I don't think this OS map thing is going to work off-road. in the way that I want it to. So I might have to just rely on GPX files on the Garmin for the rest of this. So let's just switch you all off for a minute. Right, so here's the problem. This is my old seat. This is the standard seat that came with the Himalayan, and it's got this tab. It's got a tab at the back and tab at the front. Tab at the back, front slots through. I'll show you this when I finished it. And when I fell off, I must have twisted sideways and it sheared it off. See? You see the difference? No tab, tab, no tab, tab. So, and this is the touring seat that I bought. I actually, on my long ride up to near Manchester, I stopped off at Hitchcock's and actually picked this up and then got them to post this one back. And it makes such a difference. So I don't want to live without this for any time at all. So what I'm going to do is I've got an old chopping board and I cut a piece out of it, and this is about the thickness of that. So I'm going to cut a length to go into here, right to the back of that. So it'll be about that long. It's nice that I've got one that I can model it on. So it's going to be kind of like that. I will round the other bit off nicely, and then I'm going to cut a slot in the front here, that line at the bottom being the important one because that's the line to line up with the slot in the bike. And then I'm going to add some pop rivets, and then I'm going to literally from the top pop rivet this on. And that should be probably stronger than that, but then again I must have fallen off really awkwardly and just, I don't know, twisted it suddenly, or it's not desperately weak, so I must have done something to really snap that off, but hey ho. Anyway, that's the idea. Let's see how it works in practice. Right, so I didn't actually show I used a sort of a Dremel lookalike thing to just cut a gap along there. And the thing you have to be careful of, and I found this when I first did it, is that this stuff melt, whatever this plastic is. The stuff that I'm replacing it with, that is almost certainly HDPE. I don't think this is HDPE, I think it might be polypropylene, something like that, so it does melt very easily. And yeah, so basically sort of cut a hole in that, and then, oh, can I do this with one hand? And I've made it sort of reasonably tight. So that goes all the way to the end there, and it sticks out about the same distance. I've done a dry fit on this. The height up to there, which is the key thing, I checked that out. So literally all I've got to do is pop rivet it. I've got these ones with the quite wide head, obviously. I didn't realise how substantial this piece of plastic is. So yeah, this seems to be a plan that might even work. Even with just that one in there, that's actually quite solid. that is solid, and then just with the one at the back as well to make it really, really, really good. Right, so how did the saddle fare? I've done a few 100 miles since fixing it. Let's take it off, see if it's still solid. Yeah, it's as solid as a rock. I don't know if you can see there, but I did put some plastic on there, but it hasn't stuck very well, so I'll get rid of that. That literally will, that's just for sort of strength, it's not a glue, but that's done very well indeed, very happy with that. So there you go. Other things that I've done with the bike, I've now done nearly 4,000 miles on it, including I did a 300-mile ride to Cornwall. I had a flat tyre with it and I didn't have any tyre fixing stuff. Had a nightmare time with the RAC, who just took hours and hours to rescue me. So I now have all the tyre fixing gear. It's a learning process, but I've had some great rides on it. Still absolutely love the bike. The other thing I did is I rode up to where my daughter lives and I finished the shelves. So let's have a look at the few bits and pieces that I had. This is from last month, by the way, if you want to see the beginning bit. The few bits and pieces that I did to finish the shelves, put them in her study, and then Lucy giving, she did paint them pink, but I've got to say it's actually quite a nice colour of pink. So let's have a look at what I did to finish it off, what they look like just before painting, just after painting, and now that they're full of books. I'm very pleased with them. A lot more books need to find a home to live in. I'm not making shelves for that. She's actually gone out and bought some flat pack shelves. I think she felt sorry for me. So yeah, let's have a look at this. Right, so we're back at the shelves. I didn't video me doing this because this is quite simple, but these are all the individual shelves, and rather than have that sort of which I quite like actually, but rather than have that sort of plywoody type effect, both Lucy and I agreed that it'd be nice to have a curved edge. Now obviously I could do that on a router and then put some polyfiller or something on it. But an easier way to do it, a cheaper way of doing it, probably cheaper, quicker, is to put these little edging strips on. So you can see that, I think that's called a D shape. And basically what you do is you just glue those on. I tend to use this stuff, but any similar sort of white glue. And you don't need an awful lot of pressure. You just put them on there, put this tape on, and then you have a lovely, and these are 18mm wide. It's just slightly over 18mm, and the nice thing about that is you then can give it a sand down and you get a really nice finish on it. So I've done as much as I'm contractually obligated to do. These are the bookcases finished. This is not white paint, by the way, this is just the undercoat. It's really difficult to get far enough away, but as you can see, they go from the floor to way up to near the ceiling. So they're about 7.5 foot tall and about 6 foot wide, and they are as big as I could possibly make them. Shut the blinds a little bit, and you can see where I've done the sort of roundedy type things, and it's now done. So there might be a quick rejoinder on this when I get Lucy to send me a photograph of the bookcase with everything, with it actually holding books in it. So that was a big job.
The room is not big enough to show you the entire bookcase, and I am currently sitting on my desk, but it's done, painted and in place. There is something missing though, I can't remember. Maybe I should put some books in it, might be a good idea. Ta-da! Full bookcase. Those two sections will be cupboards to the left and right. Unfortunately, I made a slight error in judgment.
So there we go. There's a couple of things that I want to do that Lucy alluded to. Is I've offered to put cupboard doors on the two outside bits. The middle bit is all going to be shelves, but the two outside bits lower down from the sort of the countertop height. Lower. That's going to be doors. And in fact, I need to do some shelving and some cupboards for myself, and I'm going to copy what I did for her for me, but I'm going to leave them in sort of wood, and I actually quite like that plywood sort of effect, so I'm going to just leave them that way. So anyway, thank you for bearing with it. Nothing went according to plan. Technology didn't work. I think it is worth having a look at this OS Maps thing. Now I've got a smartphone, I'm going to start using it, and as I say, I have tested OS Maps both with a road ride, and also I did a coastal walk when I went down to Cornwall, and it really is fantastic. Very, very happy with it. OS Maps, if you're not in the UK, is Ordnance Survey Maps, and they are just fantastic in their detail, and they are the basis on which a lot of the or in fact pretty much all of the definitive maps are based. So it's a great way of looking at off-road stuff, and hopefully I'll be getting another mountain bike at some point, and you can use them for mountain biking, you can use it for walking and so on. I will still use the good old-fashioned maps and a compass. But anyway, that's it for this month. I shall see you in August, which is tomorrow, because I'm desperately trying to get this video together before the clock strikes 12. So see you next month.